Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast, MCP. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Parker, go by One Who Parks on Discord.
This is Josh, go by Grumozag on Discord.
And welcome back for another riveting episode. Got all the rivets yet again. As always, links to the show notes. I was going to chat with Zach about the game we played on Thursday, but that coward won't even show his face. So
he's scared, for sure.
That. Yeah, he should be scared, because I definitely looked up prices of Hitmen.
You didn't ruin him, he ruined you, and so now you're...
I think we ruined each other, I think would be a fair statement.
Oh.
We had one of those games where one person got all of the advantage that you could have. The only thing that was fair, I think, was the scenario rolls we had. We played scrolls, and so because we were both playing attrition lists, there was a lot of picking up of scrolls. And almost shot for shot, we missed in consecutive rolls on getting pushed. And so we both made the first, 4. And then we failed every consecutive one after that. And so it was perfect parity on the scenario rolls. But other than that, Zach definitely got the upside of RNG on combat rolls, which was unfortunate. But even given that, I still almost tabled him. I was still winning. I just couldn't close it out because he kept one-shotting my models and then, blocking 3 on multiple attacks in a row. And so it was I would go into a 3-pointer and, Apocalypse would roll his 7 plus war bonus plus rerolls and, do 2 damage and then, not kill him. And so it was a lot of that going on, but I was still winning. I just couldn't get it. I couldn't close it out fast enough because his guys lived way longer than they should have. And so he ended up getting me. It was actually a really close game. But I just like to give him crap. Anyway, moving on. We are ready to build a list from our pile of competitive models that we have. All right, so if you haven't listened to previous episodes, I would recommend that you do so. But going through our list of what we've established to be our staple models or our meta-chasing models.
I like All-Stars. All-Stars.
All-Stars is fine. Yeah. I prefer staples. It's just a term I've used a lot in the past, but a lot of people are going to use whatever they want. The important things that we understand is these are the models that are leading edge in what they do in the game. So in descending points order, we have Namor, Red Skull 2, Black Panther, Shang-Chi, Logan, Beta Ray Bill, Spider-Woman, Psylocke, Nightcrawler, Apex Predator, Dr. Voodoo, Baron Zemo, Deadpool, Black Cat, Captain Sam, Miles, Gwen, X-23, Shuri, Spectacular Spider-Man, Iron Man, Ant-Man, and we're going to leave the 2-pointers off the list, but we have a small section of the 2-pointers that we really like. Because pretty much all the 2-pointers, you're just grabbing, there's so few of them, you just grab the best one for what synergizes what you have. It doesn't really matter which one you take, as long as you know how to utilize them in the right way. Okay, so I think we agreed that I was making the list. I don't know if you guys particularly care.
What do you mean you were making the list? You're just doing
So basically, I'll be in the driver's seat, and if we have a disagreement, you guys will pitch me on your opinion, and then if we need a tiebreaker, I'll be the tiebreaker.
Oh.
So we don't get into a circular argument.
Sure.
You're missing Mighty Thor, but yeah, I think this is a pretty good list.
Not missing if you're about to get vetoed.
The fuck out with that shit.
If I have to hear one more time about 3-point convocation lists and Mighty Thor being a meta model, I will fucking quit this podcast.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm not going to play that convocation list. I think I was smoking something that night. I don't know what it was. I was
only one person's played it so far. CJ showed up to the game night, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I played that convocation list Parker made twice last week." And I go, "Oh yeah?" And he had this joyful smile on his face. I went, "Oh no, maybe it's good and I was wrong." And he just did this giant thumbs down motion from across the room. I went, "Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
The world is right." Yep. I understand.
I think I went into a think tank, and it was an echo chamber. I was looking at my own reflection.
It's like you got the devil shows up on one side. You look to your left. There's another devil. You're like, yeah, this is going to work.
Isn't there supposed to be a second guy?
Yeah. All right. So the list I would like to make, which is I'm sure exactly what Josh wants to make, Murder Town. Let's make Murder Town the list.
I love Murder Town. It's my favorite place to visit.
Parker, are you okay making a Murder Town list?
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to like my suggestion.
Oh, okay. Well, I just think it's obvious because, like, for example, Black Cat and Voodoo are meta staples, but they're not going to be good in a list that is primarily focused on killing people.
Sure.
Just as an example.
My head went to Murder Town first, but I don't like that our All Stars list became this kind of list that I'll just say it out loud. I feel like our All Stars list, isn't it just Weapon X? Like, look how many Weapon X models are on this All Star list.
Okay, so we've got Logan and Apex. Apex is Weapon X?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And
I guess I could just read here. Deadpool and
X-23. And you've got 2 leaders on there of that.
Sure, and also importantly, you don't need leaders. So again, the whole point of this is we're not focusing on building an affiliation. We're going to build a package of models that work very well together, and then build affiliations around them. And so which is normally the exact way I would build a list is go, okay, find an affiliation in this pile, build from there. And so we're going to try and do it in reverse.
Okay.
And
so we're just going to look for models that kill things in different ways, and then see if there's an affiliation there.
Correct.
Got it.
Well, not even that, but just find a way. It's like, hey, can I add 2 models that would be affiliated, and like get us there? And then when you get to the table, you're deciding your affiliation against your opponent specifically.
Okay.
And so it's not that, hey, I found something. The whole point is to have a very flexible list.
I have another curiosity.
Okay, go ahead.
I feel like we shouldn't add leaders that aren't on this list in order to make affiliations, specifically as we talk about the concept of anchors. And if we're saying that these are the non-anchor models, like all these models are great contributors to your winning condition, that adding a leader that's not on this list is automatically watering down our list, right? Or would you disagree?
I don't agree with that, but I agree with the concept of it. And so what I'm looking at is basically if we have a really tight core that's like 3 or 4 models, then 4 of the other models on the list are fucking irrelevant because they're never going to see the table. So it's okay to put that person in a slot. So like I would never suggest this, but as an example, Hulkbuster. Hey, in some matchups, he's worth his weight in gold, but 90% of the time he's worthless. Leaders like that, I think, are a great add to this list because it gives you yet another problem that your opponent will have to deal with within your squad.
So what's funny is looking at it, Parker immediately jumped to Weapon X, and I immediately started running through an Avengers list in my head because you're basically already affiliated with some of the stuff you have, and in a Murder Town list, knowing a lot of what these models do, Steve 1 is going to really push some of these because that's turn 1 Namor charge, Beta Ray
turn
Bill
1 Sam
throw,
charge.
turn 1 Sam charge, Iron Man pumping dice.
I would agree.
Like I think we look at this and we go, because you can really easily with what we have get 3 models with plus Steve 1, if not Steve 1 plus 2 models, be affiliated and then just start killing.
But see, that's the thing. I hard disagree. I think if you spent 4 points on Steve 1 instead of 4 points on Shang-Chi, it would be a better Avengers list if it didn't have Steve 1. It doesn't matter that you're getting a discount on powers across some of your models. Shang-Chi is a better model than Steve 1. I think Steve 1 is an anchor a lot of the time, especially if your plan is go kill them. So
right. So I think we're having a difference of squad building versus roster building. I think having the tool available to you can potentially make your roster better. Now, that doesn't mean that you play him in the games because he has the opportunity. It means you have the resource available to you.
Okay.
So if you think Shang-Chi is better than Steve in some games, Shang-Chi should be in the roster. But that doesn't mean you can't have Steve for the same reason, because they might have different benefits in different games.
Yeah.
I don't know when that is, but maybe we can figure it out.
Well, there's no question that having a strong leadership is a good thing, right? And so it's just in that individual moment asking yourself, is Shang-Chi going to be of more advantage than having Steve's leadership? And that is definitely a question you need to be asking. And if there's always one correct answer, which I don't think there is in that example, then you shouldn't be doing both.
For example, let me give you an example of one in which Steve's leadership actually enables something really important to the game. If there is an important midline extract to pick up, taking Steve plus Cable is immediately a huge advantage because you have a safe extractor. Like, that's a big, big deal. So I'm willing to spend 4 points on Steve, knowing he's not a complete anchor. He's not going to win an attrition fight, but he gives me such an enormous advantage if I'm going first turn. So now you're talking about 2 slots. Right now, I don't see any of those kind of synergies with Steve specifically to help me on something like a great advantage, like having a Centerline extract. So maybe we can talk about it as we go.
Yeah, and I think in that example, I think you are. I think in that example, I would definitely agree that it's not worth 2 characters costing 9 points. But what I would say is it could be very much worth just choosing to take Namor instead. Where it's like, hey, this is a perfect example, actually. Let's say you pull Legacy Virus and you have Prio. It's like, well, instead of doing Steve with leadership, I'm going to take Namor just because he's a safe grabber.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to abandon the Avengers plan because in this exact scenario, this is better.
You're right.
And that's exactly what this list is about, is doing the optimal efficiency thing over the standard cookie cutter plan.
Okay. I'm following.
The other thing I was looking at is like if in this list of characters we have the core of the Web Warriors list as well. Because you've got Miles and Gwen and Black Cat in there, and Spectacular Spider-Man as well. And so this list can go a lot of different ways, which is why it's got a lot of popular models in it.
You also could. There's some really good Defenders tactics cards and stuff. You could go Defenders as well.
Mm-hmm. So, but the first step of this is we're going to find our core models, and so in the list of models we have here, let's start getting the core together. I think we are all going to agree Zemo is in the core.
Zemo has to be core. He's just too good.
For Murder Town, there's no one better for 3-point slot.
Mm-hmm. Namor's probably there too for that same reason. He's 2 pointers. He's 2 points more, but he does a very similar thing for Murder Town, right?
Okay.
I don't know about core, but I mean he's definitely going to make the list. The 5 threat and a Murder Town makes me think
Red Skull instead.
Red Skull, because in my opinion those are the most best grunts in the game. Red Skull himself can really just pop someone, and I feel like Namor is a good safe grab. And yes, you can always talk about the double bubble reroll, but for me that's playing a lot of geometry. So unless you have a model that really wants the double rerolls, I go Red Skull over Namor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think Namor is a better model than Red Skull, but I think Namor does noticeably less damage than Red Skull.
Noticeably. A lot less, in my opinion, yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to put in Red Skull too.
Sure.
Parker, do you have a suggestion?
To kill, well, you got to do Logan, right?
I would agree. Logan would be my next grab. He's just too efficient. And so here's a perfect example for our 12 points. We've got Red Skull 2, Zemo, Logan. And I would argue that there's no better pile of 12 points to kill someone. And so I think that's a good start, good baseline.
I would say those 3 actually kill lots of little things, but the one we need to put on this list is Nightcrawler, because he can point and click something.
So that's a good observation, saying the list isn't very good at killing expensive models. Nightcrawler's obviously the best at that.
Yeah. Thinking down the line, I suggest Iron Man. I think he can reach out and touch someone. He's pretty solid, and he has 2 tactics cards that I really like. I know we're not there yet, but with Murder Town, obviously.
So I very much agree that having Helios Laser available in the Murder Town list is very valuable. He would almost be an alternate to Nightcrawler in that example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially with these 3 models' ability to build power.
I agree. And then it will be a bold statement, but when I played Shield for 6 months, I really liked Stark Armory. It's subtle. It's not something you want to take every time, but if you can keep that bubble up, it's unaffiliated, you can take with anyone. It happens even if he's dazed, you do it during the power phase, so you're not forced to activate someone first, unlike the Thor card.
Much better than Hood's
but
Gang.
An extra dice is an extra dice, and that could be across 4 powers, a range 4 in a bubble. That's pretty big. That can touch most of your people. Not in every game thing, but I like Iron Man for those two reasons.
Okay. I think Iron Man is a bit of a reach for damage dealers of 3 points, considering we have X-23 and Deadpool still on the table.
There are much better damage dealers.
It's really the question of Helios Laser, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Also, Ant-Man, I think, is a great, super aggressive attrition piece. He can really get anywhere he needs to get. The only problem is, again, he doesn't really kill big people. He more kills little people.
I think Iron Man is not a he's not just a I'm going to roll 4 dice at you. He's got the best, most efficient dice buff in the game besides, him and Storm, right? So it's
true. But he's not
like
generally
not rolling 6.
Yeah, outside of Avengers, he's not supporting himself nearly as well, right? Because his ability to deal 2 damage on every hit is not great.
Right.
And so if he breaks that chain, it starts getting out of control. But him having the ability to stand next to Zemo, maybe even a Namor, changes that math. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not against Iron Man at all. I'm just saying.
I could see him down the line being dropped, for sure. Because, you've got...
But he's also...
If you're talking about 3s, you've got Deadpool and X-23 that I would put over him for killing, for sure.
The big thing for me for
X-23
Deadpool...
is kind of going there first.
Yeah. But again, she doesn't have a range attack, so she's a little bit in a box. I actually don't hate Iron Man. I'm just wanted to point out that he's not the highest damage potential.
No.
Okay, so how about we take Iron Man out for the moment because he's not really core.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So currently we're looking at Nightcrawler, Logan, Red Skull 2, Zemo. Looking at our pile of options, is there anyone else that needs to be in that pile?
X-23, I think.
Okay.
She hits so high above her weight class. It's not funny.
I don't disagree either, and I think we really needed another 3 to really balance out the points.
I do find it interesting that you did not, in a Murder Town list, did not include Nebula, because to me,
we're not including the 2s in the conversation.
Okay. Other 3s or core models, I think Psylocke is one of the best 4s you can bring.
I don't disagree, but I've played her a lot lately, and I don't think she's really what the list needs right now. I think Logan is objectively better.
Oh, you would take Logan over Psylocke.
Yeah. Logan is the king shit of fuck mountain for damage dealing.
Yeah.
There's no question.
I think Psylocke and Sabretooth they're both in a bubble in which I think both of them can use a little bit of help to turn them on. And Logan needs no help, right? So that's part of the... I don't think X-23, Zemo, Nightcrawler, Logan, or Red Skull need a lot of help to do their thing. It can just happen. Mm-hmm. But Psylocke and Sabretooth, Apex Predator are both so good, I think, with a little bit of help. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of debating Black Panther, but I'm also thinking ahead.
Much like Iron Man, he has high spikes, but he's not consistently good.
Yeah, looking at him, he himself, he's good. He's just not going to... pop someone you need him.
I would reach for Apex first.
I would too. Apex has done very, very bad things to me.
Apex is
many games.
I don't know how many people get to play against him because he's one of those models that kind of only serious players have because he's in the fucking $100 core box. Well, like King T'Challa, and he's like, you see that guy go nuts for the first time, and you just go, "What the fuck is happening?" And that's not even counting in the fact that a lot of people don't even play his tactics card, which gives him another attack that's out of activation, and it's really crazy.
I've been playing this game, I think this will be 3 years now, and every time someone puts Sabretooth across me and then does their thing, I'm like, he does what? They're like, yeah, he does these things. I'm like, are you sure? Can I see that card? There's no way. What?
No one has pounce and throw, just as active abilities.
Yeah. Oh, it's a medium pounce too. Does. Let's throw myself medium.
Just medium size 3 pounds is ugh, that's already brutal.
It's so dumb. I think the problem with Apex is he needs a little bit of help. So if we have the space to combo some things later, it might be better.
In my opinion, Apex should be the hard ceiling on the game.
Yeah.
Nothing should be more powerful than Apex. Literally, Apex.
I love that he is the Apex.
He is the Apex.
Yeah.
Anything better than him is fundamentally bad for the game, in my opinion. It's Logan is better than him, and that's a problem for the game.
Yeah.
It imbalances the rest of the models because he's too strong. Because we're sitting here talking about this, there's an amazing list of 4-pointers here, and we would never consider any of them until Logan's already in the list. Mm-hmm. And obviously we're doing one thing, and it's he's the best at what he does. So, Okay, Pun Town is over. We're going to go back to our list. All right, so I think we have a solid 5 here. I would rather have a solid 4, but I don't think we need to cut any of these models because I think it's okay to have 2 4s, 2 3s, and a 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, and these models aren't hard locked in the list. As we start to develop the rest of the models, these might sub out for something else based on, relevant changes. So, assuming that this is our core, now we're going to stop looking at our list of options so much. We're going to start looking at opening up the rest of the game. Now, looking at these 5, is there anything that needs to go with them, like hard needs to go? And so, I think Nebula wasn't a bad idea. I would also suggest Bob. I think Bob goes really well with these models because he's maximum aggression. He can just easily remove somebody as good as any other 2 can.
Bob also does something really interesting, which is his stock increases as you kill your opponent. Exactly. So if your plan is to kill them, then the fact that he's always injured doesn't actually hurt you. It works great.
Yeah. And he combos really well for Red Skull too, for that same reason, that when you've got infinite Bob, infinite grunts, it's really hard to break that board state because you've got infinite contesters that's eating resources from your opponent the entire game, which is why the Cabal list worked for so long with Malekith, because without Red Skull 2, that Malekith list would not have been as scary as it was. Then CGR came out and it was a totally different story, obviously. But
so one thing I see that I think I would like to see is Gwen. Because you've got a lot of range 2 attackers. There's a couple range 3s in there. But I think if you want Killy and you don't want to burn actions on movement, Gwen with Webline, having the ability to wait out someone being activated, you pull them towards your model so that you can just double tap them. I don't hate that idea. It's a little bit of like, you start adding moving parts, it becomes complicated, right? But just you with Murder Town, you're going to want double activation if they can't get off the charge every single time.
I would rather have somebody like Lockjaw, personally. If we're going to go down that path, I like Gwen. She's obviously an amazing character. I don't know that she's what I want with this package. I think I'd rather do something like Lockjaw, where I can just objectively place my model where I want it. And so let's say you're doing that, you're bleeding out activations, like, oh, you finally activated the model on Red Skull 3 or Red Skull 2 side. I'll just Lockjaw him forward and then declare murder. And there's really nothing you can do about it.
Are you opening up?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you?
I was so
good. I'll let you finish.
No, I was just going to lead you. Go
ahead. If we're opening up to 2-pointers now, I think it has to be Rocket, right? And the only reason why, not Bob. The only reason why is Rocket is the best attrition 2, I think, and he's a range 5er, because right now you have nothing to hold back. Like if you wanted to sit on the back secure so they can't just walk around you and take it, Rocket's the king of that, right? So I feel like Rocket is a really easy way to sit on the back secure with an extract and just, tell them to go fuck themselves.
I think Rocket is the safe choice, and I think the choice that gets you into Valhalla is Nebula. Because I think Nebula is infinitely more killy than Rocket. Because Rocket is... I've had a lot of games where I'm just throwing 5 dice over and over. Range 5 is good. He's, he has good placement to put him behind a car. They can't see him and shoot him back. He's always got cover. But... for me,
I feel like
Nebula just going in and just you're cool. I got 6 and I rolled 2 crits and now 8 with full rerolls, and the ceiling is a little higher to just go. And she's a long move with a range 3 attack that places 1, so there's a little bit of you can just run someone down like a dog.
She's got a lot of good stuff in her kit. I like Nebula a lot. But at the same time, she doesn't contest, which is extremely relevant in today's game. The fact that you don't contest might lose you the game around early.
Yes.
Then also, I think she really punishes people that don't know how to play against her. Not that she can be easily played around, but there's trap holes you can easily avoid. And so, giving her the extra power right before she activates is a big one. Standing your model within range 3 of her while contesting is a big one. It's a lot of people don't just move away. and they should. Like, just give her the point and back up. And so I think she is the highest potential, but she also has the biggest floor, because if she just runs forward and dies,
which is very possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I play against Use Killer. She maybe gets one activation. Usually she gets none, because generally when you're playing a super aggressive 2, you're not having prio most of the time. But yeah, I like Nebula a lot. The big upside for Bob would be it would almost guarantee you have 2 affiliations you can choose from.
Yeah, the fact that you've got Cabal and Hydra already working in all 2 of your other all-stars. I noticed Hydra earlier when I was staring at the list as well. There's another problem with Nebula, which is I think you get so much more out of her. Okay, so if she can't contest, what she has to do is remove the model, right? She has to actively remove models with her activations. If she doesn't remove things, she's hurting your win condition, period. So I think when you have things like damage buffers, like Thanos or a Mordo, when you have somebody who can give her 2 extra dice, she feels fucking amazing, because now she's going to remove models. And now you are winning the game because you remove that 3-pointer or even that 4-pointer with her 2 attacks. But when you don't do that, you just feel the only thing that saves her in that situation is she's a 2-pointer, so maybe you have an extra model. But like Brandon said, they could just kill her because you don't have a priority when you do that.
So that was going to be my point, is that I never, like, obviously it feels good when she starts popping off, but even if she has an average turn, I don't feel too bad, just because I don't have much invested in her. Like, if they attack my 2-pointer, then they're not attacking someone else, that's fine. And if she doesn't get a kill, which obviously I want her to get a kill as much as possible, but if she just gets enough damage in that someone else can, I've never felt like in a list Nebula has been a waste of points or slot.
Oh no, I don't think I don't think she's a waste. I just think she's not an all-star. Like,
it's just a gambit, yeah, because you have to expose her to try. And I've had plenty of games where, like, 6 dice with full mods is great until, you do 4 hits and they block 2, and then you don't have enough power to do your second spender, so you shoot them with 4 dice, do 1 more damage, don't daze anybody, and then die. And that's the problem, right?
Very true.
It's very possible she even fails to kill a 3-pointer. She has a huge ceiling, but, she's not guaranteed to hit it. And if she doesn't, you have no other input for her other than she died. As where any other model could at least contest a point while they're trying. Okay, so let's just move past the 2-pointers for right now. I will add in all of the 2-pointers we talked about. I like the rocket play because you really don't have a stand-in-the-back guy.
I also do like the rocket play.
I also like that you brought up Mordo. I think Mordo would be a decent add for this team. You got multiple healing factor people that like more dice.
Yeah, Mordo would definitely put in some work.
And he's Cabal as well, isn't he?
Yes,
he is Cabal. I'm going to throw Mordo in real quick.
It's also Convocation, just saying.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So, let's start looking at affiliations. So the obvious 2 we have so far are 3. We have Hydra, Cabal, and Weapon X are all low-hanging fruit at the moment.
Uncanny X-Men is as well, if you're willing to add in any of the leaders.
Right. So for Uncanny X-Men, what are the advantages we get without taking a leader? You get first class still? Is that still legal?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You get
first class isn't nothing. Xavier's Dream is good.
Xavier's Dream is huge for an attrition list, I think.
Especially with 2 healing factor models.
Yeah. Big.
Weapon X is obviously nice because aggressive fixes the maneuverability problem. Extra defense dice is never bad. And more importantly, it really only costs you a tactics card to get in.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to go more towards X-Force, which is not super likely, but we could easily add in Deadpool and we get closer. There's I think it's Call the Pack is a pretty good potential option.
Call the Pack is Weapon X. You're thinking of
Weapon X.
Is it Weapon X? Okay, good. So we're already there.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a pretty good X-Force card that just came out, but I can't remember what it is called now. But yeah, Call the Pack is Weapon X.
Okay, so looking at Hydra first, we have 1 leader already with Red Skull 2. Our plan is probably going to be Red Skull 2 all the way, so I really doubt it's going to be worth putting Strucker in.
Mm-hmm.
But just for looking at it, I don't think Strucker's a terrible 3-pointer because he's got range 3, energy, incinerate gun. He can poison everybody. Arrogance is cute, and he has We Are Venom as a spender. But he's not particularly impressive, and he's not really the leadership we'd be looking for anyway.
But do you go for the triple reroll? The
triple
strategic
they don't stack.
genius.
They don't stack. Zemo and him have the same rule, so it doesn't stack.
Yeah. Lame.
Oh, you can't. Oh, lame.
Oh, yeah. If he could stack, that shit would have been happening a long time ago.
Yeah, no, don't worry. You would have seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Next up is Cabal. We don't have a Cabal leader, and the only Cabal leaders are Malekith is probably too expensive for what we want. However, he's exactly the strategy we want.
And like we talked about at the store, I had a lot of fun and a lot of success playing Malekith, even though it's been post-nerf. But it's very much how they want you to play him. Like, I just bullied weaker models and just went, okay. I had multiple games where I one-shot Thor 2, but that was a different story. That was a skew.
I bullied weaker models by one-shotting Thor 2.
But I mean, like, just every turn.
This one time, I diced a guy, so it works.
Yes, it
You're
works.
like, that's the best Parker evidence I've ever heard.
It is.
But I mean, like I said, I really liked him. He was fun to play. Just going and popping a model every single turn, sometimes two. Midnight Phantasmagoria won me some games.
Yeah, Black Bifrost is also good. There's a lot of reasons to play Malekith. Unfortunately, his stat line is not one of them.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'll put him on the list as a thing to look at. I would love for Malekith to be playable. I don't see him being so, but I would love it. Now, on the plus side, adding in a Nightcrawler to his list might answer one of the problems he has of being able to kill tougher models. But again, you're just playing two lottery machines and hoping one of them hits.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't even know all the Cabal leaders. I've never played Cabal.
It's Sin, Red Skull 1, and Red Skull 3.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Famously, Red Skull 1 has a cute interaction with Nightcrawler.
True.
That's not nothing. It allows him to go infinite.
He also has a Space Stone effect, which is very nice for all your melee characters.
Yeah. Red Skull, we didn't pick a lot of characters that I think Red Skull 1 would become a lot more exciting if we had characters like Apex Predator and Psylocke, characters that could turn their power into damage more often. We don't actually have that, except for kind of Zemo.
I don't actually think Psylocke needs Red Skull 1 at all, because she just needs a flat base amount of power, and because she can only do her reroll once per turn. And so it's not like she can just funnel infinite power through it.
No,
but it is nice, obviously, to have more.
I was just saying a point. I don't see any characters in this list, except Nightcrawler, that are benefiting from Red Skull 1. I feel like his stock is very low with our current list.
If we added Red Skull 1, I think we would almost immediately add Apex as an in case.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
And then Red Skull 3, he's probably always good, but I think he's an anchor on the list most of the time. I think I'd rather have Nightcrawler or Logan almost every time, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think Nightcrawler or Logan would probably be better. Logan for sure. Obviously, Nightcrawler's closer. He's not a... Oh... Apparently, there's a note on Jarvis Protocol saying that they're about to update his leadership, but I think they're just talking about the one that's
there's only been
for a really long time.
2 or 3 FAQs to it.
Yeah, there's only been 3 pseudo erratas. Anyway, I think Red Skull 3's personal performance is understated because he's so often just a fucking stand behind of Thanos that you never really see him do anything. But that being said,
I don't know if you're going to see that much anymore. But.
Yeah, he was, right? That list is basically dead now. But the leadership is definitely not something to forget about. Giving Logan Reality Stone is something you need to pay attention to. Like a lot.
Yeah.
That changes the math hard. And so the big downside would be that you can't play Red Skull 2. And so you'd be getting a little bit of redundancy in the list. But you'd basically just be replacing him with... pick a different model that's on our great list of models already. I think I think I'm more interested in playing Red Skull 3 than Malekith at the moment, just because I know Malekith has a ceiling of his stat line is not worth his point cost. But his leadership is, and I've said this before, my favorite in the entire game, and I don't think they'll ever release a leadership I enjoy playing more than Malekith. It's exactly what I want to do. I wish if it was tied to Sin, I would play Sin every game. Because I can afford a 3-point dead weight, I cannot afford a 7-point dead weight. And so I just wish he wasn't so bad that he doesn't work at all.
You can play that leadership again,
By playing Malekith, yeah.
Or Inhumans.
What do you mean?
Inhumans got a Queen of the Inhumans tactics card that is Malekith's
your favorite
leadership.
character, Medusa.
But Medusa, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
He said
As I
Sin.
Said, 3-point dead Sin. Well, it's also an Inhumans, though, so it's playing completely different models.
Yeah. I don't know. My problem is I don't play bad guys very often.
Like you're saying you don't know models to put in with this?
No, I do. I just don't know who I'd prefer, Red Skull 1 or Red Skull 3.
Well, so again, Red Skull 1, I actually have played very recently to great effect with Mephisto. And I think he is underestimated, but he really is just like a Steve 1 kind of stand-around leader who's not really helping. He's not like a Cyclops or a Black Bolt who's really putting in work with you. He feels more like a Star-Lord. Like, if he gets to do stuff, great, but you're so terrified he's going to die that it never really comes up.
Yeah.
The other problem is, like, he's really not designed to take a hit, because when he came out, he was tough. But that's because he's like 4-3-3 with 6 health, and that's what they thought was tough back then.
Yeah.
And also, he deals damage to himself, so not great.
He doesn't actually have that much health. He usually has
and he doesn't have enough power usually to use Hail Hydra, because if you have him in your list, your plan is to use his place.
I didn't realize he had a sizeless throw.
He does have a sizeless throw. Mm-hmm. He also has a sizeless push, I believe.
Yeah, sizeless push.
Welcome to Legacy models.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got a good collection here. Moving on to Weapon X, we already have the best 2 leaders for Weapon X, so we don't have to add anything.
No.
Okay, so that's a lot of opportunity. If we were to take
there's one more leader we should add, and you mentioned his name, and that it's actually Cyclops.
You think Cyclops?
Because Cyclops is not an anchor, I think.
I do agree that he's not an anchor. He's a fine piece. The problem is, I don't know if Walk Forward, Shoot 4 is playable in the current meta.
Well,
he's not going to get to any points. And so he's going to be standing in the middle of nowhere, not helping. So he's double moving to get to an objective. But once he's there, I think he's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Red Skull 3 would do the same thing, right?
Potentially, yeah. Depending on what your other people do. Like, if Logan runs up and nukes somebody on the midline, he can just scalpel himself forward, which is something he has the opportunity to do.
That's
Red
true.
Skull 1 gets to use his Master of the Cube place thing.
Right.
Malekith is honestly my biggest question mark, because he's really not doing anything on the first turn. He can move forward and beam, and then set up a big turn 2 that he's like really imposing on, which I don't hate, but he's not the best.
You are correct. I played Cyclops a bunch, and when I play him, he usually moves once, shoots, and then like to give somebody a power so that to activate them, or to maybe if he gets
really
some power
hoping
himself,
to hit and run onto a point the following turn.
Yeah, you're excited to use Optic Blast turn 1, do some damage. Man, if you give 2 damage, now you're field leadering someone and passing them a power. Now they're super turned on. But that's usually what his turn 1 is, which is not super low tempo. You're still attacking.
Yeah, I don't hate that. But let's say we do that. Let's say we throw Cyclops in. So our X-Men build is Nightcrawler, Logan, Cyclops.
And X-23.
That is putting us in at exactly 12 points. Then you can add whatever you want past that. You don't even need X-23, but she fits.
And Nightcrawler and Logan are wonderful with him.
But what are you doing with that? Like, you're hoping to deal damage for X-23 to get 1 power to Claw Rush on the first turn?
Okay, so this is when I think if Cyclops sticks in the list, then I think you put in Apex, I think.
Okay.
Because you can feed him so much power, and then he's always on. He's your power fed. You just put things in Apex, and he kills things.
Okay. So we're adding in Cyclops and Apex for that build.
That's an idea.
I don't hate it.
You don't hate it.
Also, Nightcrawler's not bad to load up with power as an alternative.
Sure, but like that's more of I have a game plan in mind, right? I actually don't know that Nightcrawler makes the list that often because it's really about what you're playing against, right?
Exactly.
He's worse than all your other 4s unless you know your opponent's bringing like a 5 threat that's going to be crunchy. Right. Like if they have like a Juggernaut type or a Hulk, obviously, that's something you want to be ready for.
We talked about how Sabretooth can it is a non-zero threat for him to take down 3 3-pointers in a single turn. Like that's something he might do.
Yeah, no, I've dazed 5, 9, 12 points of models with him in a single activation before, fairly recently. Like he's an absolute monster.
Right. And in a Cyclops list, feeding a model 4 power over a round is not hard. Like it's especially if you're very aggressive. If everybody's aggressive, it happens.
Okay. I'll put him in there.
Something to consider as a package if we were excited to try that. I think that package is better than the Red Skull 1 package, I think. But maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, so we've got our mutant package is... Where's the other model that we had? Okay. I thought we had 4 mutants. Oh, yeah, these guys. That's a pretty big package.
That's what she said.
All right, so the mutant package theoretically could be Logan, Nightcrawler, X-23, Cyclops, Apex. The Hydra package is Red Skull, Bob, Zemo. The Cabal package is Red Skull 3, Zemo, Bob, Malekith, Mordo potentially. And then we've got Rocket, Nebula, Bob sitting here as 2-pointers. So these are like kind of the optional like branches we can start going down.
I feel like go ahead.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put the Uncanny X-Men package here compared to the Weapon X package?
I would personally, go with the Uncanny X-Men before the Weapon X. I would put it ahead.
What out of 10?
What out of 10? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but
okay. So is Uncanny X-Men is a 10 and Weapon X is a 1? Like, is that the difference we're getting?
You're talking about the difference? Yeah. No, I think the difference is probably. Difference is probably like a 4 is my guess. I think it's probably like 10 versus a 6 or 6 versus a 2 or whatever.
Okay, so you're putting if Uncanny X-Men is a 10 out of 10, which is not what I was looking for, but as an example, you would say that Weapon X is a 4 out of 10?
No, 6 out of 10. The difference is 4.
Okay. 40% worse.
Yeah.
And that's because of Cyclops' leadership and the tactics cards you would have access to.
I hate to say 60% or 70% worse, but just because I feel like Weapon X really likes as many affiliated models as possible. I don't know about splashing into them as much. Like the core would be good, like X-23, Sabretooth, Logan. That's pretty killy. That's pretty murder towny. Zemo Sabretooth without bad.
Go ahead. Sabretooth in Weapon X doesn't feel nearly as dangerous as Sabretooth with any other help.
Yeah. Because I like the Cyclops feed power way more than I like.
But it's not impossible for him to just go off on his own and start killing everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's just less consistent.
See a Pierce on his thing.
The cool thing about Sabretooth is he's massively consistent if he can get some power. So that's...
he's got Pierce.
Yes, he becomes way more consistent when he's not relying on actually dealing damage with his builders. When he's just doing pounce throw every turn, you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also curious what would happen if you just put him in like a reroll bubble, like with Hydra.
I think Hydra... Well, you mean reroll bubble, you mean just Zemo? Or you mean...
We could put Namor in as well, hypothetically, but yeah. I actually don't hate Namor with Sleeper Agent, because they can't respond to his charge attack. So you weaken them with somebody first.
Zemo can't be a sleeper agent. He's Hydra.
No, Namor being the sleeper agent.
Oh, Namor is the sleeper agent. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think I heard you wrong. Yeah.
So yeah, you have your reroll bubble. You're shooting them with Strucker or somebody else starts laying shots into them. Maybe even Bob throws in an attack, and then you've got your guy on like 2 or 3 hit points, and then you come in with Namor on the sleeper agent charge, ignoring damage reduction, and you just take them out. And you're like, cool, I got your thing. Walk away long, and you're like. Yeah. yeah, I don't really have an answer to this because you kind of just get to do whatever you want every turn. And so you have to walk into their double reroll bubble and attack them there because they're just going to collect all the extracts on Namor.
I feel like Sabretooth likes Red Skull 2's leadership as well under Hydra.
Agreed. It's not as good, obviously, but it's something.
But it's like
I've
conditional in the same way,
as
but
like a bonus.
More consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the argument I'm trying to make, because like Cyclops' leadership, the problem I've always had with it is like you got to be range 5 for the thing to happen, and sometimes you're like, well, I kind of need to be outside of range 5 to contest or go chase this person down. So then the leadership's doing nothing for me. But Sabretooth is going to be hunting people that are already on points. So
the thing I don't like about the X-Men package is that I feel like it's going to eat up a lot of the Tactus cards. And that's the biggest pushback I have on it.
Okay.
I'd like the list to stay flexible. And if you're just taking 2 Tactus cards, that's not the end of the world. And then you putting two 4-pointers in your list you're only going to play together, that's a pretty heavy brick to be moving around. But it's not a deal breaker. It's just a lot. Just like this Malekith package, I don't expect to work out. It's in there as an option.
No, I do not disagree that it creates a situation where, in my opinion, and this is one of the things I was thinking about earlier when I brought up, do we ever put a leader that's not on this list and as takeable? Is it makes me feel like I need to. I don't know if I actually do. It makes me feel like I need to take Cyclops because I put him in the list, and he's so many of my models and so many of my tactics. It makes me go. This is a psychological effect. Like when I get ready to pick my roster, I will reach for him first because I spent so much of my energy making sure that I had him as an option.
Yes, so, I would agree with that.
Which is the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. So,
and I feel
just remember, opposite.
There is enough there. We might not even have to reach for leadership.
Well, I don't think we'll have to reach at all.
Because there's if you could play under an affiliation in this Murder Town list without needing a leader, the leader obviously helps, but there are still enough there that you could do it without having to add another part.
All right, so I'm just going to do this for now. I'm going to keep a note of the X-Men bundle. Oh no, I just minimized all my windows. And I just made a note of the characters we have. It's Cyclops and Apex, and I'm going to get rid of them for now, and we'll look at it without the X-Men filter for a minute. And if we want to go back to it, we can.
Sure.
Okay. So now let's look at the Hydra option. I love that one of our models is already a leader.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably has the lowest upside of all the affiliations we've talked about, but it also has the lowest cost of entry, right?
Yeah.
There's one really cool thing that the Hydra leadership, that Red Skull's Hydra leadership does, is if you are willing to or excited to include a large base model, there are lots
you can start with 2 power.
There's lots of situations where you start with an extra power.
I didn't think about that for Malekith.
So yes, Malekith would start with an extra power. Ulik starts with an extra power.
No, he doesn't. He's a medium base.
Oh, he's a medium base?
You fucking misbaser, son of a bitch.
God fucking damn it.
Crystal out here on a large base.
Crystal belongs on a medium. My Crystal.
I will give you she belongs on a medium. But
my Crystal in my heart is only a medium base.
Parker based his Crystal on a medium base because she comes with Lockjaw, and he was like, yeah, medium base. And he just left the 4 smalls on the table. He's like, that's how she goes. And then he was like, yeah, she's like a long medium. And I was like, there's only 2 long mediums in the game, and she is not one of them.
That's fine.
It was hilarious.
The other thing I really, looking at it, like about what we have going with Hydra, is it's a core of 10, which means if you really want, at 16, which is the lowest level threat there is now, you could go, that'd be 5 wide, with a decent 4, which could be Apex or Logan.
Wait, what? You cut out for a second. Say that again.
So at 16 with our Hydra list, because our Hydra can have a core of threat 10. You could go 5 wide.
Was what Strucker, Bob, and another 2 is what you're saying?
Well, Red Skull, Zemo, Bob is 10 for a Hydra core. and then 16 is the lowest level threat, so that's a 4 and a 2 or 2 3s. And then it's like, okay, cool. What if I bring Logan under Red Skull's leadership, dive a back point, which he's going to do anyway, and then he's just sitting there gaining a little extra power. I don't hate it. I don't know if it's a way to go, but I like the core of 10 threat gives you a little flexibility of.
Well, it also gives you 4 contesting models, which is, I don't think, the part that you mentioned that I think is really good.
I always forget the best grunts in the game every single time.
Well, because also, like, think about it. Like, you could easily throw in another 2-pointer in there as well. Like, you could go absolutely insane and play 3 2s, which I don't think is a bad idea. Like, just play Rocket, Bob, and Nebula. And you're like, I'm 6 wide at 16 points, and I have 6 contesting models.
Yep.
And they all like to fight.
So models that...
I'm actually really liking this Malekith crossover between Hydra and Cabal. He obviously doesn't get all of his fun toys, but he opens up the turn 1 charge again.
Yep.
That's cute. I don't hate that.
Malekith's one of the only models on the large base that really benefits from it. Like the Hulk's like an extra power, but it doesn't turn anything on.
Yeah, Jugs doesn't really care. It just lets him get a safe pickup without being in Brotherhood.
Cosmic Ghost Rider doesn't hate it because he gets to move a little bit further, but not it's not great.
Yeah. Ghost
Malekith
Rider 1 doesn't have enough power to do anything with it. Yeah, there's not a lot. You're right.
I have
Cold Obsidian can do Enforced Oblivion.
The one cute thing I've done with Ghost Rider before is pick up 2 hammers with him.
That is cute. So, that's not irrelevant.
Yeah, so I have just like set him on the back, picked up a hammer, then immediately moved him twice and picked up another hammer, and people go, oh.
Mm-hmm. And I personally love a good turn 1 Alpha Strike. Yeah. I love turn 1 just been like, hey man, I'm already here. There was no time to set up. I'm just here now. Let's see what you can do.
But I don't think Ghost Rider is an all-star, and he's not a hyper attrition piece. He's just tricky. Malekith getting into Ferocity first turn off of that is really cute. Also, it catches people. It catches people by surprise. Every time I do it and I pick his leadership and put a large model right there, they go, "Oh yeah, he gets an extra power." And then I go, "Turn 1, I do this." They go, "Oh shit, that's an extra power he gets and lets him do," because they don't think it all the way through usually.
Mm-hmm. I'm just curious if it would be worth it. Like, you get to Ferocity, but like, then what?
Oh no, you're right. Well, that was the thing,
it could
right?
It could only happen on.
Well, when he had Pierce, it was a lot scarier, but yeah.
It could only happen on D's. You could essentially secure a flank because he can start in the middle and go either way.
Mm-hmm.
So then if your opponent commits on left flank but not on right flank, you just go to right flank and just have him mulch there. I don't think it's every time, but I don't hate it. Especially with your under Red Skull, because you can just have the best grunts in the game sit on the back point while Malekith runs off to whatever flank they're weaker on, and then commit more people to the other one. And like Malekith is
Red Skull, Malekith has always been
hard
in my opinion,
to
one of the
deal with for
for
anyone that doesn't have something that can deal with him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Sizeless push, Sizeless throw, yeah. But if you don't have either of those, like Malekith's like, dude, I'm here, and I'm gonna eat you for lunch, assuming it's on a 5-threat buff.
He can still kill 5 threats. He has to spike.
He can. Like I said, when I played him, I just used him as a bully. I was like, cool, we're gonna make you pick up a 3-threat every single turn, and if you run away, I'll chase you down. But I was also doing Loki, so I could just teleport him where I wanted him, and then charge. So
okay. So we've talked about the Hydra aspect. Are there any Tactics cards that are worth mentioning? I was trying to look.
Hydra has fairly weak ones.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I think Sleeper Agent's the only one particularly relevant.
World Domination is not entirely impossible, and it is pretty cool when it works. I don't, and actually, it does happen fairly often.
World Dom used to be very good. I don't think it is anymore.
Well, there are now 2 secures that you can do it on. There used to just be 1. Now there are 2.
Oh my god, I've never read Occult Research. That's wild.
It's actually pretty crazy. I really wanted to play it with Apocalypse. And you could just be all kinds crazy. I was actually just looking at, almost as a joke, 2 More Shall Rise.
That's a joke.
Because Red Skull 2 actually does mix it up a lot.
Stop.
And people like to kill him. And then you could just be like, now I have Malekith leadership.
It's not the absolute worst thing ever. It's just silly.
So I just don't see you would ever trigger World Dom. I don't think that's at all worth even looking at.
If you have priority, there are now 2 secures that you can automatically trigger it. There used to only be 1.
But you have to put Red Skull on the center line, which is less advantageous now as it used to be.
I'm just saying that's the upside.
But yeah, I mean, so here's the question then. Is it worth it? Each character you control gets a power, and for every 2 secure objective tokens you are securing... Oh no! We would have to change the way we do tournaments. Because we do pick ban missions, you could guarantee take one of the 2 blues.
Yeah, you could.
And so if you win Prio, you just score World Dom on the first turn automatically.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually be really annoying. So everyone would get 1 power and you get 1 victory point. Is that worth playing it? If that would mean that you could give a large base model like Malekith 2 extra power on the first turn.
Beautiful. That's a charge and a crit.
Oh no, because it wouldn't be a D and World Dom. It'd be one or the other. So that means you could guarantee World
it could
Dom.
be. It just have to be hammers. It has to be a red also.
Oh, that's
works.
true. Because you can contest reds. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
I'm telling you, I
for
played
people
a lot of
not
Skull.
following what we're saying, I assume they do. World Doms, if you were currently controlling all the blues or securing all the blues, not controlling them, you can play the card and you divide the number of secures you are controlling by 2, and every one of your characters gets that much power, and you score that many victory points. But on Mayor Fisk and Wedding Party, there's only 2, and so Red Skull with the grunts double move, immediately play World Dom before your opponent's had a turn. Sleeper Agents, I don't think relevant with the models we have selected, but it is worth mentioning.
Yeah, I was just I was looking at it for Malekith, and I was like, it doesn't really benefit from it.
Yeah, because I don't know how often it's going to be that he's going into somebody who's ready to be killed.
Yeah.
But it is not irrelevant. Like, the fact they can't play Spider Tracker, they can't Bodyguard, they can't, Lifesaver, they can't do any of that shit. Can't fall back, can't mission objective, can't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Also can't spend for damage reduction or brace or any of that stuff. Okay. So Cabal options. So without adding anything, our Cabal options are Zemo, Red Skull 2. And then we are looking at possibly adding Bob, Mordo, Red Skull 3, or Malekith. Red Skull 3, we talked about the big downside of Alter Ego shared with the model we're already taking. That's part of our core. I don't think Red Skull 3 is a bad ad. I don't think Red Skull 1's a bad ad either, but they're not premier. Red Skull 3 is definitely better in a vacuum. Malekith, I think, is a little behind the curve, but has an absolutely amazing leadership, which is kind of the opposite of what this list is about. So I'll probably say we're probably not going to do the Malekith route. The thing I do really like about Red Skull 3 is he optimizes your team in a way a lot of other characters can't. Almost like a Cyclops way. It's like when you add Field Leader and ability to add power to people, but also just turning your attack rolls up to 11 by giving you the Reality Stone effect is really, really good. And then he, like you talk about, Cyclops had a good attack suite. Like, he's got a better one.
I think honestly, Red Skull 3, the more I think about it, he's so tactically flexible for what this list needs, which is more damage whenever you don't get best dice, right? You get +1 dice if you get a skull. And so many of the characters don't need power, so they're just using their power or their health because a lot of them heal, so to turn it just into damage. And then if anyone goes off, if anyone becomes a pot of power, he just turns that into movement. Turns into control for you and them. I think he's just a really good choice.
Yeah, I think it's hard to not argue to put him in as a 10 slot. So I'm going to... Got it. There's so many avenues to make Malekith questionably good that I really want to explore that, but...
I think for the purpose of list building, we could probably drop him. But I would also recommend that you try Malekith at the store sometime.
Yeah, I do want to.
Because I think he's underappreciated.
I think that's probably not wrong. Okay, so now we're looking at Zemo, Bob, Red Skull 2, Red Skull 3, and Mordo. Anything against those choices? Mordo's not exactly the kind of model we're looking at, but he does work extremely well with the models we already have. Like, if you've never seen Mordo, Logan, Red Skull 3 attacks, it's a thing to watch.
Also,
you're looking at he's Reality Stone 7 dice builders with potentially 2 rerolls.
Also, Mordo combines with like Nebula and X-23. Like, it's not just the one combo. Like, there's not a place that he's really bad. Also, I think he's just a straight upgrade to Rocket. Like, if you're considering taking Rocket, you just take Mordo instead. If you have the 1 point, like if that's the option you want to do, because he's going to do a lot more for your list and a very similar role. Sit in the back, gain a lot of power by himself, buff your guys. Like, it's a good idea to upgrade him to Mordo if you have the option.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it looks like we're all pretty much in agreement. We like this package. Mordo's the weak link here. The downside with Logan is that you have to kick in the extra dice on Logan on the first attack, and then he has to place out of range 3 of him to get his rerolls on the second attack. Which is not hard to do, and they're both good, but it's kind of diminishing returns because you're already getting 2 rerolls if he doesn't give you 2 dice. You also have healing factor, so the damage he deals you is irrelevant. But he does kick in full value on X-23, which is nice.
Well, also, Mordo, like, there are situations where you're like, Logan needs to come in where the rest of the fight's happening. And so then Mordo
makes him still good.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. Is like Logan can be a solo artist, but at some point he probably can't be. So then Mordo makes him better. So
yeah, Mordo also is a really nice battery for Red Skull because he can just go to 3 power without doing anything on the first turn.
It's enormous,
and so it lets Red Skull potentially scalpel on the first turn without any help.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Mordo is a grease to a lot of this list, and I don't think you lose a lot for him because it's not like he's bad. Besides, he's some terrible.
Yeah, worst case scenario, he's got a range 4 hex gun. Like, it's not bad, and he's really good at holding back points.
Yeah.
So he's a really easy add for grease.
And if you're like, I don't want to play Baron Mordo and Red Skull 3, you're like, cool. I'll switch to all the other models that kill things. Like, it's not like
I'll just take X-23 instead.
Yeah, poor baby. Yeah.
And obviously, the huge advantages of playing Cabal are Dark Rain.
Yes.
Like, you basically don't need Nightcrawler because you just point and click remove people with Dark Rain.
Yeah.
Question mark? Yes, but yes.
Dark Rain combined with Red Skull 3's leadership too is just, again, pushed to 11 because, you're guaranteed to roll a skull somewhere in there. And so it's just going to mean that your attack pool is bigger.
Now, remind me, you can't, like, roll, re-roll, then count a skull, right? You have to do it during the first trigger of an attack.
Once per turn, when a non-grunt allied character is rolling dice as part of an attack roll.
It may treat one.
Are you saying that means it has to be on the initial roll?
Yeah, for the skull to count, right?
Let me see. Yeah, it'd probably not be in the mod
isn't it?
So
isn't it? You roll, you explode crits, then you re-roll.
I can't tell if this is the upcoming errata or if it's current ruling or not based on the website. Let me go to MCPDB and see what it says. It's skull. The original text is rolling dice as part of an attack roll. Yeah, you might be right.
Because it's different than, like, counting.
The errata is supposed to be is attacking after rolling dice, but before. Oh, yeah, so they're changing it to be before resolving crits.
Okay.
So yeah, currently I believe the original text allows after mods, like the Reality Stone does. They're changing it to not allow that, but it's not live yet. So it's up to whatever your play group decides.
Yeah.
But either way, it's fine. It's still very good.
Yeah.
And the thing that a lot of people don't realize that haven't played these 2 leaders, both Steve 3 and Red Skull 3, is that this directly builds power because you're generating successes off of your rolls. And so even though it's costing you a power, you're gaining an extra power if you use it on a builder. And so it actually doesn't end up costing you power. And in Red Skull's case, it might actually end up building you more power because you're spending 1 power to generate a hit and maybe another hit as well.
How are you generating a hit and then another hit as well? I don't.
Because you're turning a skull into a crit and then exploding it.
Oh, that's right. You're exploding
for Red
too.
Skull. For Steve, it's a wash always if it's on a builder.
Unless, like Pierce makes it not a wash, but you have to take specific models.
Correct. Yes, because you're effectively getting 2 hits out of it. Or if you're using, Wolverine, can potentially make it 3.
Right. Wolverine, Gamora, Archangel, like they can all do that. Similar things.
Gambit.
Gambit cannot do that.
Gambit cannot do that.
He can't do that?
No. Read Gambit's card.
The new card.
Oh, so you're talking about future stuff?
Oh, you're talking about cheating. Okay.
Yeah. Zach asked me on Thursday, he's like, so do you mind if I use the new Gambit card? I'm like, oh, no, you can use it. I just win automatically at deployment. And he's like, so I can't use the new Gambit card? I was like, when does the card come out? And he's like, later. I'm like, well, that's when you can use it.
That's how gamers work.
Yeah. Okay.
We're so mean. Look at it. Look, he got so quiet. Josh got so quiet. He doesn't agree.
Just stop cheating.
I don't agree.
It's fine. I'm just going to play without erratas. I'm going to play with my...
Pays
it's exactly as ridiculous as asking if you can use stuff pre-errata. That's exactly what it is. It's like, hey, do you mind if I use original print Malekith? Is that cool? Like, no? Then shut up. Like, why are you using shit that's not legal and I can't?
The man
anyway
has a point. That's a really good point. I've never thought of it that way. I just did a point of the game's not out yet. Let's play the game that's out. But that's a good point.
Yeah. There's a similar thing, like if you roll too many dice, you re-roll the whole thing.
Yeah.
And if you roll not enough dice, you always add 1, right? And it's like that's the opposite. You should re-roll the correct amount. Like that doesn't actually make sense that we do it the other way. Anyway, so looking at our list right now, we actually have exactly 10 models that we're looking at. So we've got Logan, Nightcrawler, X-23 for our mutant package. We've got Zemo, Bob, Baron Mordo, and Red Skulls 2 and 3 for our Cabal package. And then we've got Nebula and Rocket as our 2s right now, in addition to Bob. And so we could call it there with 3 2s, but I don't think that's our plan. So if we're looking at doing Cabal and we don't currently have a leadership built in for the X-Men package, so who did we have originally for Weapon X? Was it Apex?
Apex, yeah.
Okay. So we could cut one of these 2s and put in Apex, which would allow us to have a Weapon X drop.
I counter argument, instead of Apex, since we don't have any way to support him, I would actually vote Deadpool, but that's me.
Okay, that's fair. I like having more 3s as well.
Yeah, I hate to say I'd cut Nebula with what we currently have for Deadpool, but I am in agreement.
I'm more for Nebula now that we have Red Skull 3 than I was before.
Yeah, Red Skull 3 and Mordo kind of screams Nebula, but
Red Skull 3's leadership combos so well with dice mods because the natural enemy of dice mods is skulls, and he not only defeats that but increases it.
Also, she doesn't care if she takes damage. It doesn't matter, like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, she heals at the start of her activation.
Yes, it's the start. What I mean, it doesn't matter. Is she doesn't count. She's not a character. Whatever it takes to kill.
She's not
things.
a character.
she's just dice.
You say
right?
that till because when she's activating, you don't care what her health pool is.
Right.
And she also was guaranteed not to die to it because she just healed 1.
Yeah, and being flipped over doesn't matter because
that's fair.
She doesn't she never scored.
So personally, I'm more of the opinion that we should cut Rocket and Nebula in the attempts to get more affiliation opportunity into the roster. But I don't think we need to. It's just a thought.
I think Rocket. I don't know if I like losing Nebula. There's a lot of things. If the point is this train has no brakes, I think Nebula is the quintessential version of that. But I
agree.
I think Rocket for Bullseye makes a little sense. Let you do Cabal, but it wasn't Bullseye.
We already have all the Cabal we want.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, no, we've already got 5 Cabal models.
Oh, then fuck that. Yeah, just lose
for
Rocket.
Apex?
Rocket for Deadpool. I don't think
for Deadpool. That's right, Deadpool. Okay, so now our Weapon X is Logan, X-23, Deadpool, which is fine. Because then you throw in like Zemo, pick somebody, probably Mordo. And then for Uncanny, we have Nightcrawler, Logan, X-23, Deadpool. We just don't have a leader for X-Men, which I don't think is actually the problem because the strongest part of X-Men
Deadpool is not
are the Tactics cards. He's not, but we still have 3. We've I said too many, but
okay.
We have X-23, Logan, and Nightcrawler still.
16.
I think the strongest part of X-Men is the Tactics cards, but having a leader wouldn't be bad, obviously. I wish that's why I was thinking if we had Apex over Deadpool, then we have the opportunity to go for Cyclops again.
That's not true. But then we'd have to find out where to put Cyclops. I don't know if there's a spot for him. But
yeah, and so the option would be cutting Nebula. I like having double 2s. I actually think it's very advantageous against scenario teams because the biggest problem you run into is redundancy against scenario teams. Like if you're playing 4 wide versus their 5 wide and 2 of your guys whiff, you're basically done. Like if only 2 guys have a successful turn, you've lost the game. You're too far behind. You can't catch up. But if you've got 5 or 6 activations, then 2 guys not doing anything isn't a big deal. And these 2-pointers will punch up against any scenario models for the most part. Like obviously Nebula can't go into Black Cat, but pretty much anybody else.
Word.
And I really like Nebula with Mordo as well. Like there's a lot of good synergies with Nebula. I don't think we can cut any of the Cabal people other than maybe Bob, and I really don't want to cut Bob.
Bob is fun. He should be there for a fun factor, let alone anything else.
Yeah.
Bob becomes one of the best characters in the game, in the mid game when you're actually killing them, because I have seen so many people across the board for me going, fucking Bob, because they do the math and like, if I kill Bob, I lose priority while he's killing me. Like,
and they just have to watch him.
Yeah,
and the people also forget because he just stacks up power throughout the game. Sometimes he'll shoot his pistol, but he just generates 1 a turn if nothing else. And if you're playing in Hydra, he generates 2 a turn, obviously.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I'm going to Hydra Tactics 3 times to get into a good rocket position. And you're like, oh, like what? Yeah. Like who saw that coming? Yeah. And then, in Red Skull 3, you're throwing 9 dice bomb. Mordo can kick it up to 11. Then you got the Red Skull 3 skull crit plus a Zemo reroll plus Dark Rain reroll. And he's like, I got 12 hits. And you're like, what the fuck? And so all of a sudden you like don't need Nightcrawler as your single target kill person. It's very cute.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it's totes adorbs. And everyone loves their 6-point Hulk dying to a single fucking Bob attack.
Hi, my name is Bob. This is my missile.
I made it extra spicy just for you. Okay, so I wish we had one more slot in here, but I can't see cutting anyone in here. Deadpool is the most cuttable model.
Yeah.
Just because he turns into Apex, who's still in the same affiliations.
But I really
how often are we going to play Weapon X?
Deadpool over Nightcrawler, personally.
Deadpool over Nightcrawler is who you would cut or keep.
If we're losing Deadpool the Uncanny X-Men plan and we have Dark Reign and the Cabal plan, I think that's probably enough to kill your one model. I don't mind the idea of losing Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I don't know that we need him, because the only time he's coming in is when you're playing a mutant team and you know that they're going to have a 6-pointer that you can kill with Nightcrawler. And even then, it's still like the lottery machine. It's not like guaranteed, but he's just a good model, especially in today's meta, I think.
Yeah,
he's so good at like defending a point, because you can't do anything to him. He's got like super stealth, he's got defensive rerolls, you have to come to him, and then he just kills you. It's like Logan standing on a point.
What is the what was your replacement for him, Zach? No, Josh. What was your replacement for him?
Cyclops would be the example here, I believe.
Oh, if I dropped Nightcrawler right now with what we're currently looking at, I really don't hate no more. I feel like Sabretooth is more in line with what we're trying to do for our Murder House list. And Sabretooth would technically give us
Weapon X
with a 4. That'd be 4, 8, 11. 14,
I think if you're cutting 4. Deadpool, you're putting in Sabretooth. I think if you're cutting Nightcrawler, you're putting in Cyclops.
Well, you're taking out one Uncanny X-Men for another Uncanny X-Men. That makes it harder.
But we already have Uncanny X-Men affiliated.
We only have 2 after him.
Yeah, but that makes 3. The X-23 and Logan plus Cyclops means affiliated. And then you're trading Deadpool for Apex, which is the package we talked about earlier. So is Nightcrawler Deadpool in this roster better than Apex Cyclops? I think Deadpool and Nightcrawler are both far better grease characters. And Cyclops Apex is simply to gain another thing. Do you think the Cyclops Apex Logan X-23 list is valuable enough to include in our roster, is the question. Over making a sacrifice to make the list less flexible overall?
That is a tough question. I'm trying to run through.
I think Cyclops. Okay, so this is my take, and I don't think it makes it less flexible. I think it makes it more, and this is why. I think the Cabal list is a really good, or Hydra maybe, are probably no, it's Cabal. The Cabal list is really good at taking down your bigger models, your 5+ threats. So if you think you're running, 6+, then I think Cabal is a good reach. But I think, man, Cyclops, Wolverine, X-23, Sabretooth, so many 3s are going to die. Like all of them have the ability to take out multiple 3s in a turn. Like,
just to be clear, Logan is the first model added to the Cabal list, but yes.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that you can't kill 3s with the other list. I'm saying that list specializes in 6+. The Uncanny X-Men would specialize in swarms. And I think Nightcrawler and Deadpool do not help either of those strategies. They're just like you said. They're kind of grease. They're good. Like, oh, I need this weird situation where I need this funny thing. I need a model that is always going to be counted as healthier. But I don't think I think if your just plan is to kill, I think you have 2 options to kill, right? I like this has happened organically, but I really like the look of that. So my heavy vote is lose Nightcrawler, Deadpool for Cyclops, Apex, and I think you try that. I think it's interesting.
The thing I like least about it is that we end up with a lot of 4s because we got 1, 2, 3, 4 4s at that point, and a 5. Josh, what do you think? Do you think it's worth that X-Men drop?
It's hard to say. I don't always think adding more ingredients to something makes a better soup. And looking at it after what I said, I was kind of sitting there thinking, like, okay, well, Nightcrawler kind of doesn't hate either Red Skull or either Red Skull's leadership. I would like to see what he could do after placing Buffed by a Mordo, because that would technically be +4 dice, and you do have to get the trigger in order to turn him on. That's always my thing with Nightcrawlers. I really like how he looks. You do eventually hit just a curve of you hit the trigger every single time.
But
the main thing is if you don't hit the trigger, then
the thing I really like with Nightcrawler
plan.
In Red Skull 3 is you can see if you hit the wild or not before you trigger the leadership.
Yes.
And you're like, ooh, it's not there. I better re-roll. Or I better get the crit here because I'm going to need the extra attempt.
So then my later question just becomes, we would have 3 affiliations, all based around killing. When is the situations that we're playing them is what I would like to see. Because you can have all 3 affiliations kill, but if you don't know what you're looking like, okay, I'm playing against this is the matchup I want.
Yeah.
Right? Or I'm playing on this crisis, this is what I want to play. That's really, I think, the next question the list needs before. So I feel like we can sit here and infinitely be like, tweak this, tweak that.
So what I was going to do before we decide to swap them is let's fill out the Tactics cards and see what we're looking at. Because if we can't even afford the X-Men Tactics cards, it doesn't matter anyway. For me, it looks like we're basically making a 2-character swap to gain Apex under Cyclops leadership. And I know Cyclops leadership is good, but if all you're doing is funneling power to Apex, we kind of know what that looks like. And it's good, but Apex is not going to win the game on his own. And he'll be a great 4-pointer. But Logan is already a very good 4-pointer all the time.
I think the only addendum to that is we are funneling power to him until the board gets split up or Apex goes hunting where he's not gaining power anymore. And it's just like, okay, did we give him enough power that he is efficient to do what I need him to do when he is no longer in range to gain power from anybody?
Okay, so let's talk about tactics cards real quick. We'll come back to this. So I just put in 2 restricted cards. I just picked Patch Up Brace because it's basic. We can obviously swap those for something else if we feel warranted. I think it's pretty good given the list we have, especially with healing models. Currently we're going to have regardless 3 healing factor models. So I think adding in the healing card is actually very good. I think it's heavily underrated right now.
I know Zach has played around with it some.
I've been playing it recently as well. I think it's very good.
I think what he says is it's like, obviously it's not as good as
Exceptional was stupid.
Exceptional, but if you get a chance to play it, it's gonna be huge for you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like when you play it, it changes the game, and when it doesn't, you don't play it. Obviously. But when you have multiple healing factor models, just like with Exceptional, it's going to come down at some point where they're going to go into Logan or somebody and fumble the first big hit, do like 2 damage, you'll heal it right back, and they have to one-shot you or they lose. And it's always bad. Like I'm playing it right now with Wolverine 1, and he's an absolute terrifying monster on his backside because like, can you deal 6 through Brace and Instant Recovery? Maybe not. Like, it's actually very likely you won't, and then he's going to fucking kill you. Okay, so tactics cards so far, we've got our 2 restricteds. I just put in Brace and Patch Up so far. I have Joint Effort and Survival as basic generic cards. Am I missing something that's like you normally played as your generic?
I have really liked, is it Warpath?
The aggressive card?
The aggressive card. I don't know if it's necessary in this list, but I have had... Now I'm also playing people with swords and axes, so I need to be in range 2, which is not a thing on this list.
Yeah.
But so looking through it, like, there's people that like it. Zemo likes it. I guess Red Skull would probably like it just for some extra movement.
Every model in this list has a range 3 primary attack or a place.
It's not needed if you're looking for another generic. That's the one I would probably go for. But like I said, it's not. I don't think you're going to take
Parker,
it one game out of 5.
Is there a generic card that you are thinking that we should add? I have Survival and Joint Effort are my non-restricted generics so far.
And we're not talking about character-specific ones, right?
That's just the empty, vague pool stuff. The vacuum cards. I feel like I'm forgetting one, which is why I'm asking. Like, Fallback is restricted now.
No.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Okay.
Going crazy.
So then cards I've penciled in so far: Instant Recovery, Dark Reign for Cabal, and World Dom for Hydra.
Yeah.
Instant Recovery and World Dom are potentially cuttable. That leaves us with 3 slots left.
I think World Dom is fun. It's one of those ones I'm going to do.
It is fun, but more importantly, Parker's right, and we're also going to be playing low-scoring missions, and so putting those 2 in isn't necessarily the end of the world either. Obviously, that's going to take some testing to determine if it's good or not. So going down the list, we obviously need Baron.
Yeah.
Going back to characters, X-23 and Logan don't really have cards that I can think of are relevant.
You don't want Mass Transit.
Yeah, I don't think we do. I was just looking at it real quick.
That's only Red Skull 1.
I wanted this card to be good so bad. Cosmic Obliteration. It sounded so cool and it's so lame. What's the Hydra card that it lets Red Skull do extra dice on attack for taking damage? I don't think it's worth it, but I was just thinking about it.
I don't think it's a Hydra card. I think it's a Red Skull card, isn't it?
It's just a Red Skull card.
I thought.
I don't believe it is.
For what? Which one?
It might just be a Red Skull card, but I think it rotated.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Takes damage to do.
Oh, it was wait. Red Skull could take damage, or he could take damage when he played the card, and then he could also he added dice equal to his.
Was that a Red Skull 3 card? I think
Give me 1 second.
I think it was played with Red Skull 2 a lot, but I don't think it was actually restricted to Red Skull 2.
Oh.
I think it was just Red Skulls in general. Just the only one you'd ever use it on is Red Skull 2. But it looks like it's rotated regardless. So.
Type in Johann, see what that says.
Oh, that's a good point. Victory assured. That's it. Beam 3 6 dice. If it dazes or KOs the target character, this character gains stun, and when making an attack pool, add dice equal to damage that you suffered to play it.
Johann Schmidt.
I always imagine his middle name is Sebastian. Johann Sebastian Schmidt.
Philistine.
Okay. Yeah. You play Yoink. Definitely worth.
Not playing Yoink.
You know what's funny is I actually suggested that just as a fun card.
The problem with the Uncanny X-Men drop is if you want to do the Weapon X drop takes up a tactics just to play Weapon X. So
yeah,
it's hard to do both.
Parker, I need to send you my 7 leaderships in 1 list sometime.
Oh, I would love to see that. I will face palm pretty hard. I would love it.
It's not good, and it's all mutants, but you can play 7 different affiliations.
Is there ever a time we would need Sleeper Agent? I can't think of a time other than playing it on, like, Nightcrawler. I don't think
necessary.
No, I don't think so.
Sleeper Agent is for Brace and not much else.
You say that, but there's a lot of times, like, if we had Namor, 100% it would be in. Like, bodyguards are very relevant. Like, there's so many Web Warrior reactives that you want to ignore. Okay, so what are the tactics cards you're wanting if we switch to Cyclops?
Probably just First Class and Xavier's Dream.
Are you just doing First Class because it's efficient or because you need it?
Efficiency. I don't know if you need it. If we're just trying to kill things, you don't need it. Go for something else. But I like it. Xavier's Dream is dumb. I actually don't play First Class very often when I've been playing X-Men recently, but Xavier's Dream is dumb.
So you can still just play this without taking Cyclops.
Yep.
But obviously playing without leadership's not great.
You also have to have
X-Men. Yeah, you also have to have X-Men characters to spend power.
No, you don't.
Yeah, it says X-Men characters can spend, doesn't it?
Nope, it does not. It's just it's dumb.
I just read it. Allied characters suffer damage. Other allied. Oh yeah. I misread it.
As long as you're playing X-Men, it's allied and allied. So it's just anybody spends power.
There is a free move card on Logan. It's not very good.
Going out to get some air?
You gotta get some air. I didn't realize it was any character, so you could use it to push your own Logan away S.
Yeah, people were playing it on Logan himself.
Well, it is specifically Logan the Wolverine.
No, they were reacting to Logan's movement.
Can you do that?
Yes.
When any character ends an advanced first play, that's stupid. That's a dumb.
Yeah, they were doing it so he wouldn't contest, which was a really weird reason to do it. But people did do it.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, kind of a free S move. That's neat. Because Nightcrawler's card is not super great. I've thought about it many times. Mass Transit.
I made an entire list. It was all about getting Mass Transit out. And it was terrible.
Yeah.
But it worked. It was a super consistent way to get Mass Transit.
It's just like Gamma Launch. Like, you do Gamma Launch, like, that wasn't that hard. And then you think about what you've done, you're like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
It's so terrible.
Yep. That wasn't that hard. Look what I did. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not even nothing.
I think...
It's actively something, but it's nothing you should have done. Like, there's so many other ways to do that thing you just did.
I do not think we should switch for Cyclops and Apex.
Okay.
I feel like it makes the list a little binary, but most importantly, I think its ability to play unaffiliated is really hindered because you end up with this weird brick of people that need help as opposed to being good on their own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you wanted to, I'm just looking at options, you could just drop down like Zemo, Bob, Nebula, Deadpool, X-23, Logan, and that's just like a pile of bullshit that you don't want to deal with. I don't even know if that's that many points.
Oh, you know what? One last
7, 10, 13. That's only 17 points. And that's still affiliated with Weapon X. Oh, no, it's not. It's 6 models. Damn. You could drop Bob and Nebula for a 4-pointer. Honestly, I just wish we had one more character slot.
I tell myself every time I build a list.
Really? Normally it doesn't matter.
No, there's always like, I'll sit there and look at a list and look at a list. I'm like, there's just like that one last little thing. I'm like, I wish I could fit that in there. Like tactics cards, I have a problem. I generally have, 3 dead tactics cards that I'm taking to hit legality, but so many times I'll sit and build a list. I'm like, I just wish I could squeak one more person in and just have that little bit of pivot.
That's what we were forgetting. We didn't even have the X-Force leadership card in. Are you sure you want to remember?
You meant Weapon X.
I said X-Force again, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Weapon X is what I meant. You were correct. I love how free it is why mainly I love it. So we want Weapon X cards. Oh yeah, and Call the Pack. Yeah. That fills out our list really well, actually.
What is that stupid card my brother used?
If somebody regenerates, you can spend 2, and then all your Weapon X guys move towards you, right?
Yeah, when an Weapon X character removes damage from itself, it may spend 2. The character that played this card advances short. Then, all allied characters within 3 of it may advance short.
Ooh, you know what's cute?
Doge.
You could now use Call the Pack and Instant Recovery together.
Yes. Hold on. Okay, there was an issue with this initially.
Oh, really?
And I think they fixed it, or they said that it's not an issue. They clarified because everything that removes damage says it removes damage, not like the character removes damage. And technically, Call the Pack says when it removes damage from itself.
Oh,
and so saying the source of damage removal must be the model and not like a tactics card. But then I think that was part of the clarifying. If they said if a card does something and you played the card, you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was part of like the Juggernaut can throw through himself errata, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives us, are you sure you want to remember and Call the Pack? Do you think Dozier's worth it?
No.
I don't think so. Okay.
You figured
that gives us 10 cards. I'll pick some missions later. I'm going to look at some stuff off air, but I expect it'll be pretty obvious. We're going to probably do like Hammer's Legacy Virus and something else. And then probably the 3 obvious blues, which are all centerline. It's a Wedding Party, Mayor Fisk, and Intrusions, I believe is what we'll probably do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I want to look at it and make sure there's not like weird point issues or anything, but that's mostly what we'll probably do. The tactics cards are Brace, Patch Up, Joint Effort, Survival, Instant Recovery, Dark Reign, World Dom, I Am a Baron, Are You Sure You Want to Remember, and Call the Pack. And those are subject to change as well, that kind of just got thrown in. Our characters are Nightcrawler, Logan, X-23, Deadpool, Nebula, Bob, Zemo, Mordo, Red Skull 2, and Red Skull 3.
All-Stars!
All-Stars.
And Mordo.
It's the Monstars list. Yeah. Mordo feels wrong, but every time I think about taking him out, I look at all the synergies he has for everyone in this list.
That's what I've been thinking this whole time. I'm like,
Nightcrawler loves him, Logan loves him, X-23 loves him, Deadpool loves him, Nebula loves him, Bob loves him. Like, everyone on the list is like, fuck yeah. He's like the guy on the corner. Everybody's like, I love that guy.
It's that same question for like my Adepticon list where I was just like,
yeah,
what if Mighty Thor and Logan each rerolled an extra 2 dice just cuz? And this is like, what if you just add, because that's what it is. It's like they take a damage, add 2 dice for Baron Mordo.
Yeah.
Onto an attack. Everyone on that list is like, I'll roll 2 dice. Like, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'll take a little extra.
So I really want to find a way to squeeze Apex in here. I want to find a way to squeeze Mephisto in here. I want to find a way to squeeze Red Skull 1 in here.
Man,
there's so many great options.
But those,
that's like small tweaks, not all together individually. Like
I was gonna say that. I think that waters down the point of the list, which is good models, right?
I think what might end up happening is that Red Skull 2 ends up coming out for Namor after some testing because Red Skull 3 is such a potent option that he invalidates the use of that slot. Because you have 2 people fighting for the same slot in the list, which is not great. Especially when they're 2 of your more expensive models. And so that might push Namor in, and then that opens up a potential shield build option. that wouldn't be too hard to move some stuff around for. But yeah, this is worth trying. I'm going to name this list Staples.
Nah. It's All-Stars plus Baron. All-Stars plus Mordo.
All-Stars plus Baron.
Mordo's All-Stars. That's what it is.
It is very close to the Triple Baron list. It almost was the Triple Baron list.
Yeah.
Who's the other
Which,
Baron?
funnily enough, does not have an alter ego issue, but Red Skulls do.
Yeah.
Who's the third Baron?
Strucker.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've played many Triple Baron lists.
It's called that list is called Eurotrash.
Yeah. I really wish that Mordo had Strategic Genius, because that way it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. We better get off here because we're already over time.
Okay.
Hopefully you guys had fun. This has been Brandon.
And Parker.
And Josh.
And you've just listened to Eurotrash.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.